think it's very important to keep yourself grounded. I think it's something that comes with practice. It's something that you have to constantly tell yourself. Obviously, success comes with success. Money comes with money. Recognition comes. But if you let that get to your head, I don't think you'll be successful. It will eventually be a cause of your downfall. So I think understanding who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what you were and what you are now, and understanding and remembering the people who contributed to your success, I think that's very important.
Hi, this is Aleema Khan and I'm representing Software Finder in the collaborative efforts with Daftar Khan. I'm working as a content strategist with Software Finder for almost a year now. As a guest today, we have our director inbound marketing, Mr. Bilal Khan. Hi Bilal, how are you?
Hi Aleema, I'm well, how are you?
I'm good. Bilal is a seasoned B2B marketer with over 10 years of experience in Pakistan and the Middle East. He has worked in consulting, telecommunication and IT industries for over 10 years, and he also holds an executive MBA degree from LUMS. So Bilal, how would you tell us about your journey in the corporate world?
Yeah, so I started working as a content writer back in 2007, 2008. Like most students do, I was a student at that time. And my first paycheck was of 25 million rupees. I had done a small blog for an online publication, and that's where it began. So after that, I started working for a cousin of mine who was based out of Canada. He had his own website, so I had to do content for him. I had this instinct for content writing basically. So, and then I used to work for him, and I worked for him for 1 year. He would pay me 15,000 rupees every month. For that, for me at that time, was for any student, effectively, that was a big sum. And then in the final year of my studies, of my undergraduate, I got an internship at Abacus Consulting. And so that was my final semester as well at FAST. As I, during that time as a student, I was doing my final year project. I was the marketing head for a huge event in our university, and I was doing the internship at Abacus. And it was a 1-month internship. I performed well. It went into a second month. I still performed well. So they extended it to my graduation date. And as soon as I graduated, I got a job at Abacus. The job was for corporate communication executive, where I was looking after all the social media, the website content, the works basically. And that was basically where my journey as a B2B content marketer started, right? And so after that, I moved to Jazz as an inbound marketing associate. I worked at Jazz from 2014 to 2016, again with the inbound marketing team. 2 very memorable years. I had a great time over there, made some wonderful friends, wonderful colleagues, had some great experiences over there. Thereafter, I moved to NetSol. I worked at NetSol for 6 years. During those 6 years, I got promoted about 3 times. Again, I worked on some very diverse projects, including, we built a metaverse. We built a smart cities project. We even dabbled with an NFT and cryptocurrency over there. So very cutting edge, state of the art. So we built a smart office as well. Some very amazing clients over there. We had Disney, we had Samsung, LAX airport, Heathrow airport. So we built 3D maps for them. After that, I worked in the Middle East for a bit for a consulting company over there. And then since last year, like April of last year, I've been working as Software Finder as director for inbound marketing.
Tell me about Software Finder and what is their work model?
Right, so Software Finder, basically we are a software search engine. We aspire to be the world's biggest software search engine. We are a software aggregator company. Essentially, what we do is that, we have got a listing of about 2,000 plus softwares on our website. The business model works in a way that, we've got our vendors on one side. We generate leads from them through our website. Essentially, we do marketing for them on their behalf. So that saves them cost. And then we generate those leads and we sell those leads to them. And on this side, we provide, a very qualitative and quantitative analysis of softwares to our customers, people who are interested in buying softwares. If you come to our website, you'll be able to see a lot of things, alternatives, comparisons for multiple categories. We are dealing about 9 categories at the moment, which include EMR, accounting, HR, LMS, all these. So if you go to our website, you're able to see detailed vendor profiles of a lot of softwares, and which will enable you to basically pick the best software for your needs.
All right, that's great. That's actually wonderful. So this podcast is happening because I came across a post by Bilal on LinkedIn, in which he had shared 10 years of his experience, in which whatever he had learned, there were so many things, and it inspired me to have this session with him. You see this man walking around in the office, giving orders and everything, but it was only after that post that I actually realized that this man too is a human being who went through a whole journey in which he learned some good experiences and bad experiences, and he shared those experiences in a post with us, and that made me see him in a human light. So today we are going to be discussing those 10 points with him, and we are going to be learning a lot from his experiences being in this corporate world. It's a constant effort, Bilal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're working, you feel like, especially if you're a newcomer in the industry, you feel as if you do one project, you do another project, and you're set for life. I mean, I'll give my example. When I was at Abacus, the company was celebrating their 25th anniversary. So in order to do that, we planned a lot of activities. One of those activities was that I basically wrote a book called Abacus Legacy, which compiled the history of the entire company. So I felt that if I do this project nicely, I'm going to be set for life, and it was a huge deal for me, and I did deliver on it. It was a beautifully done book, and I did a lot of research. I worked with the CEO, I worked with directors over there. I went very in depth, right? And then the book came out, and it looked absolutely stunning. And I could feel that I've done something major, and everybody's going to applaud me, and everybody will be very supportive and all that. And they were. But after a while, it became, okay, so you've done something great. What's next? So the expectation level keeps rising. You can't just bank on your past glories. And now that I've in here for 10 years, that's what I feel. That's what I hold myself accountable to. That okay, I've done one project. What's next? Okay, so I've gotten the company 3x growth. Next target is 5x growth. That's what businesses aspire to. That's what a business basically exists for. For profits, for adding value. So that is the idea behind it.
Does it ever get redundant?
It doesn't actually. I think it becomes more of a driving factor for you. It becomes more of a growth factor for you, that you feel that you are in this constant urge to do better professionally. And I feel that is one of the keys to success. That is a very big driving factor behind a successful career.
Okay. So the next point is bosses matter.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing bosses, some amazing people. I've reported directly to 3 CEOs, and I feel that each of them has had a huge impact on the way I look at my professional career, at the way I look at things, the way I look at business. A good boss can be a huge blessing, especially initially.
They can either make you or break you.
It can, absolutely. I mean, when I was at Abacus, I had a wonderful boss, and she was very, very supportive of the work that I did. She would showcase my work to the management. And in some other companies, I had some bosses which practically gave me nightmares.
Would you like to share some experiences?
Not the terrible
A small
ones.
anecdote or something?
Not the terrible, but yeah. So when I was an intern, for example, I did some content for the website, and at that point I still hadn't gotten the job, right? And I was feeling that okay, will this work out for me? Will this not work out for me? And I'd done some content, delivered it to the manager, and I went home. Next day I came and my manager was beaming at me, and she was very, very happy. And I was like, what happened? And she was like, someone would like to meet you. I was like, would want to meet me? It turned out that somehow my work, she had shown it to the director. Director showed it to the CEO, and he was a big CEO of a 2,500 strong company. And the CEO had called in me for a cup of tea. So I went and I sat with the CEO, and he was very supportive of my work. And I was like amazed at the guy's humbleness, and I was so thankful to my manager that she gave me that opportunity. So that's the kind of manager that I would want to be myself, that I try to be myself, that
You are the director. What kind of a director do you think you are?
I feel that you have to be very supportive of your team members. Sometimes you have to set examples as well, unfortunately, but that's the name of the game. But mostly,
Which you are, I can vouch for that.
But yeah, I think it's very important to be work oriented. That's the key, I suppose.
The point is to keep learning.
Yeah, that's another definitely very, very important point. So you see, if you do a degree, you have to go for another degree. If you do a certification, probably go for another certification. Keep on the hunt and the lookout for more knowledge. The thirst for knowledge should never end. And when I had done my undergraduate, I decided that okay, I'm done, because I never really enjoyed studying. But as I entered jazz, I went there, I saw I was surrounded by people who were very, very educated. Everybody was foreign educated, and they had these amazing MBAs. And in the first week of my time at Jazz, I decided that I needed another degree. It didn't take me too long, which basically prompted me to go for an executive MBA for LUMS.
How do you keep the work-life balance? And if you, on top of that, if you add a degree and you enter academia, how do you manage that?
I think supportive family is very important in that. I think my wife, my parents have been extremely supportive of whatever I've been doing, especially when I was at LUMS pursuing my executive MBA. Obviously, LUMS doesn't let you go easy, right?
I know.
So it was an extremely, at one point in time, I decided I can't do this, because they were pushing too much pressure. There was too much pressure at work. But my wife was like, no, you can do it. You can focus. My parents were extremely supportive. They constantly told me that, this is a piece of cake for you. You can do it. And I was able to do it. So yeah, education is very important, and I think you can't do it without proper support from your family.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Yeah, so the better team that you have, the more you'll be able to deliver. So for that reason, I would say the first thing is to hire the right resources. I think no matter how much time it takes, you can spend as much time hiring, because the idea should be to get a core team which is very, very strong, and they're like absolute workhorses, and then you can build a team around them, right? So that you can keep on delivering. So I would say that as a person, what I would want is my managers to be smarter than I am.
Okay.
That's what I would want, because that's why that is how I can bring out the best in them. With my experience, with their smartness and skills, we can achieve the desired results. So it's very important to have the right people around you, people who are supportive, people who are positive, people who are work oriented, people who are honest. So these things matter. So picking a right team can make the dream work. That's the idea.
In order to create the dream team, have you encountered any challenges?
Yeah, obviously. I feel that in Pakistan, you have to pick people very carefully, because, unfortunately, we don't have some absolutely amazing universities like in some other countries, So the talent pool can at times feel like it's very limited, right? So you have to be very careful with who you pick and how you pick them. Sometimes, I myself have to, pluck out resources from unknown places, because people don't know that people don't have that work ethic sometimes, and they don't have that professional outlook at times. That is something you have to develop, That is something you have to work on. And people do develop. You have to give people chances. You have to give them second chances. If you believe in them, they will come through.
But what are the key factors that you would look for when you're hiring people?
I think for me, hard work will always outweigh talent or skill. Talent and skill are important. But if there is a resource who's hardworking, I would always prefer him, because the hard worker is going to put in the hours, he's going to do some great work, and he will eventually outshine the talented guy. Because talented guy, people sometimes feel that, okay, we've got it figured. We will do it. We will do it in the last moment. That's not how it works. It has to be a constant effort. If you put in a little bit of effort every day, instead of just doing all week's work on one day, the little bit of every day is going to help you out. That is going to make you more successful, as opposed to just doing a sprint. This is not college anymore. This is not university that you just study for exams. Now you have to put a little bit of work every day. You have to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
So these things.
Because you are representing yourself now. You are an individual here, and
Absolutely.
you are not going to be shadowed by a teacher or a patron or anything.
Yeah. First of all, you should be beholden to yourself instead of to your boss. You should feel that, okay, am I aspiring to those levels?
Exactly.
So that's very important.
Would you rather be a big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond?
Yeah, I think both of these have their own merits.
Okay.
Basically working for a big company gives you a lot of exposure. The systems are already set in place. There are some great people around you. It's a running system that you become a part of. So yeah, you hit the ground running, and that gives you pretty good experience. And when I was at Jazz, everything was very posh, and some wonderful offices and some wonderful people to work with. But later on, when you join other companies, sometimes you have to build things ground up. For example, when I was at Jazz, I had got 3 agencies at my disposal. We were paying them millions of rupees every month, right? And suddenly when I moved to NetSol, my boss, the CEO, he just gave me a credit card. He said, whatever campaigns you have to run, this is your budget, run, go away with it. I just care about results, So in a big company, generally there are a lot of processes, a lot of red tape. But in smaller companies, there is not that. You can take decisions quicker, you can move faster, you have got budgets that you can use smartly, but there's also more accountability. So technically in a big company, there is a tendency for you to get lost, right? But in a smaller company, you can shine quicker and brighter. And in bigger companies, the expectation level is accordingly, it's different. So in bigger companies, Aleema, you understand that in order to grow, you have to do more than just hard work. You have to rub shoulders with the right people. You have to have that skill, sort of. You need to talk to people in a certain way. Have those long smoking breaks. Maybe go and talk to your boss every now and then. That's how you will sort of work matters, but these things also matter. But if you're in a smaller company, I would say, as per my experience, work will always take priority. The person who works more will shine automatically. So that has been my personal observation. But people can disagree.
Do you think there is a right or a better path for a person to choose from?
I don't think there's any right or wrong in this. I think it's whatever what suits a person more. Because I feel that I'm built as a person, as my skill set goes. I'm built for smaller companies looking for growth. Where I've got more freedom. There are not that many SOPs. There are not that many procedures. Where I can do my own thing and then talk directly with the management and be able to deliver.
But I think it's more about the goals as well, na? Okay, what kind of goals are you aspiring towards? What are your career goals? Where are you headed?
Definitely.
So I think that would be a big factor in choosing which pond to go in.
I would say that if you keep on putting in the hours, if you keep on putting in the hard work, things will happen.
Consistency is key.
Consistency is the key.
Greatness comes
yeah.
on its way, but consistency is
absolutely,
key.
Absolutely.
Do you believe in always taking pride in your own work?
Yeah, absolutely. Taking pride in your work is very, very important. I remember that when I was at Jazz, I was in the inbound marketing team. I did some content, and I took that to my boss. And he called me to his table. He said, Bilal, come here. And I went to him. And he said, okay, you made a spelling mistake here. I was like, it's a spelling mistake, just one. It's a 1,000-word piece. What is a spelling mistake to? So he closed his laptop like that. And he told me that, Bilal, you need to take pride in your work. Your work should be at a level that you can say that nobody can bring out an error in my work. The attitude that, okay, it's just this or just that. Nothing is that. Your attitude will show, okay, I've made a mistake, I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. That is very, very important. You can't afford to, take these things easier, because you need to at least aspire to be a perfectionist. Achieving that level is very hard. But as long as you have that at the back of your mind, that no, okay, I am proud of my work, whatever I do, people will like that, it will work. Unless you have that mindset, unless you take pride in what you do, you have confidence in your abilities, I don't think it's going to work out. So always take pride in whatever you do and try to reach to that level.
How do you aspire to have all of that, even in the mundane, tasks? Obviously, we can't love all the tasks that come our way. There are certain tasks that we really don't like. Yeah. How do you keep it going for those?
Yeah, I think it's just practice. It's just a mindset. It's just that in order to succeed, you need to do these things. You can't be in the world that we live in the hyper-competitive world that we live in. You can't just expect that, okay, we as Software Finder, we are up against billion-dollar companies. Some of the biggest names out there in the software search engine sphere, right? So how do you expect for us to settle for mediocrity and then expect to compete against those people? You just can't do that.
Obviously.
It's a day in, day out effort. You have to have that mindset, that growth mindset, that competitive mindset, that I'm up against this, I have to beat this and I can beat this. So these are the things that matter.
Being in the corporate world, I think it's very important to stay away from petty politics, no?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is something that you cannot avoid. I believe that politics in a workplace is like your laptops and your chairs and your desk. It's there. You have to deal with it. The real question is, how do you deal with it?
Exactly.
My formula for this is simple. Try your best to come to the office, stay within your boundaries, do your work, and then go home. That's in an ideal world. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. Because obviously you come to office, you interact with people, you make friends, you make enemies, frenemies, even, there are blackpooling going on, there's backstabbing going on. And there are people who actually actively indulge in these things because they feel that, okay, this is the path to success. Okay, if I do this, this is how I'll grow. But it doesn't work that way. It will take you to a certain extent, maybe a promotion, maybe 2 promotions. Eventually, it will come back to haunt you. Eventually, you will be called out for it. Eventually, people will run away from you. So the important thing is that focus on your own work and let the magic happen.
So how do you not lose sight of who you are?
Right.
In this competitive world, it's so easy for you to lose yourself, your own, personality, fighting to be at the top in this corporate world. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important to keep yourself grounded. I think it's something that comes with practice. It's something that you have to constantly tell yourself. Obviously, success comes with success, money comes with money, recognition comes. But if you let that get to your head, I don't think you'll be successful. It will eventually be a cause of your downfall. So I think understanding who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what you were and what you are now, and understanding and remembering the people who contributed to your success, I think that's very important. So we should always, keep acknowledging, where we came from. We should keep acknowledging who were the people who committed their lives and who sacrificed for your success, and that also helps you to not make mistakes that other people do. That helps you remain focused. So we must always remember who we are underneath.
Nahi nigaah mein manzil to justuju hi sahi, right? So, when we're dealing on a daily basis with so many people, with so many things, there are so many things in our hands, mistakes happen, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, I always tell my managers that, okay, it's okay to make a mistake, but number one, don't try to brush it under the carpet. Don't try to shift blame on somebody else. Just make a mistake, own up to it, try that it doesn't happen again. It eventually you will get to a level that the mistakes will reduce, and you'll be able to showcase your work in a better light. So I remember that when I was at Jazz, we had this team, and they basically took care of some very important accounts. That one of their clients was a CEO from a bank, right? So back at that time, what happened was that data was very expensive. If you traveled abroad, it cost you like 100 rupees for 1 MB, almost like $1 for an MB. So
sounds like a stone age to me.
Yeah. It was 2015, 2016, right? So it was the team's duty to inform the CEO that, okay, since you're traveling, he was CEO of a big bank. Okay, since you're traveling, just be mindful that you have a data limit and don't use too much data, otherwise things can get out of hand. So somehow, one way or the other, the communication did not get to him. He either missed the email, one thing led to another, and then he went to Thailand, he went on a vacation or a business trip or what you have, and then he came back, and we realized that his bill for that trip was 27 lakh rupees.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was 27 lakh rupees for the whole trip. And then, obviously, he said, I'm not paying this. You guys don't inform me.
I would sue you.
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't you come to my home to tell me it was that expensive? It's your fault.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and we were like, oh, you have to pay some part. He was like, I'm not paying anything. And we couldn't force him because he was a key client.
Obviously.
We had his whole company. So eventually our company had to bear the burden for that. I think he paid like 2 or 3 lakhs. And then, our company had to bear the burden. I mean, that was a mistake on somebody's part. And we found out whose mistake it was. But, these things happen, And similarly, I remember, again, while I was at Jazz, I was supposed to send out an email, an SMS campaign, right? And it was supposed to be sent out to 5,000 customers, right?
Oh.
So what used to happen was that if you send out an SMS campaign, you start receiving calls immediately. So I had that tool on my laptop installed, and I could send a campaign, and everything was ready. So I thought that, okay, I will schedule this campaign, and it will go out at 9:30 in the morning. So I was going to be late the next day. So instead of sending it out at 9:30 in the morning, I actually sent out at 9:30 in the evening. And instead of 5,000 people, I sent out to 50,000 people. And then as soon as the campaign went out, the calls started coming in, and everybody was absolutely shocked. That was going on, and our kind of the call center kind of became a little flustered that what just happened. So I went to the office next day, and my boss was like, "What did you do?" I was like, "This is what happened." And then she was kind enough to tell me, "Okay, it's fine. Just don't make this a habit. Make sure it doesn't happen again. These things happen, so let it go."
दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं, ना काम ही तो है। लंबी है गम की शाम, मगर शाम ही तो है। I think उसके बाद आपने text messages तो नहीं किए होंगे।
नहीं, मैंने किए थे। I mean, that's about the growing.
That's about it.
That's about the growing. I mean, the next day I was doing the campaigns again. I was just told to be more careful, and I was.
That's wonderful. Pakistan corporate culture is still in the running phase. It's still growing, and I think we are growing with it. Where do you see the future?
Yeah, I think I have full faith in Pakistan. That's why I'm here. I feel that we are, I feel that the generation that is coming up now, the Gen Z and after that the Gen Alpha, I think they are digital native. I think they're very tech savvy. I think due to this upcoming generation, this is what gives me hope. Because this generation doesn't take the kind of
burdens
BS,
that you took.
That we took,
Back in the day, it was the fashion that if you're overworked, if you're working weekends, if you're, missing out on your personal life, if you don't have a life, so it was glorified. You were told that you were a good employee, that you were doing all of that.
Exactly.
But our generation, we don't take that.
Exactly. I mean,
we will just say no to your face.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember that in my father's time, he used to work very, very late, And what was he doing? At times, he was just sitting with his boss, and the boss was making them sit late at night, at 10 baje, 11 baje, and they're still sitting with him. I mean, I just got to see my father at like only on the weekends. When he went to when we went to school, he was sleeping. When he came back, we were asleep. So I think things in our generation changed a little bit, but still hard work and putting in the long hours and the weekends was still romanticized. I feel that this generation is prioritizing themselves and their mental health.
We are well aware of our, our space and our needs, and mental health takes precedence over everything else.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it?
And I feel that given the right opportunities, this generation can really take this country forward. They have this tendency to take pride in themselves. I feel that Pakistan, we are obviously facing those huge challenges in terms of economy and everything. But as a person, I believe that bad times are followed by good times. It's the law of the land. It's a law of nature. That no matter the depth of darkness that you're in, the lightness is to follow, no matter what. It's how life works. So this is something that I feel that seeing this generation and seeing the law of nature, I feel that eventually Pakistan will bounce back. Eventually we will become one of the greatest countries in the world. And I don't think that day is too far away. So maybe a few decades, but I think it will happen.
The corporate culture in the first world countries have taken a huge shift. They are changing a lot. Do you think that Pakistan is going to be at par with them soon? या हम लोग भी उसी तरह पूरा process को cross करने के बाद ही हम भी अपने अंदर shift लेके आएंगे? How do you think that's going to go about?
I think nothing happens without a proper process. I think there are no shortcuts in life. So things mature over time, things develop over time, and you have to go through that process to be able to reach that level.
All right. What are your take homes that you would like to give our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I think being a part of the corporate world, I think it is something that you can wear proudly. I mean, the corporate sector of Pakistan is not very big, hence the competition is slightly strong. Good resources are hard to find. I think as long as you can keep putting in the hours, keep doing the hard work, keep taking care of yourself mentally, keep trying to grow in terms of education and academia and certifications. I think there is plenty of room here, and there is plenty to grow. And this is something that I feel that corporate sector brings a lot of discipline for you. I feel that my life, how I've what my routine is something that could not have been possible without a corporate culture or a corporate mindset that I currently have. So that is something that really helps you. So yeah, I mean, I think the corporate sector in Pakistan is great. I think there's plenty of room for growth, and I think we're on the right track.
Thank you so much, Bilal, for your kind words and your hopeful approach to this country and to the corporate culture. Thank you so much for tuning in to the session today. I hope you learned something. I know I learned a lot. Thank you. Allah.